Do you want world peace? Are you on the quest for enlightenment? Well, if you answer yes to any of those questions, then going vegan is the answer. Not sure what a vegan is? Well, a vegan is someone who doesn't consume or use any animal products or byproducts. To put it simply, a vegan doesn't eat or use anything that comes from the exploitation of an animal. In the current state of the world, it's easy to have your food choices be vegan, but it may be extra difficult when it comes to the objects you interact with. However, veganism isn't about perfection, it's about lessening your negative impact on the world and trying your best to make conscious, ethical decisions that reflect the vegan lifestyle. The first steps to the path to world peace is through a vegan lifestyle. I say veganism leads to the peace, and here's why. In a non-vegan world, from an early age, we're taught to be speciesist. Speciesism becomes the root of all social injustice. From childhood, we are shown that it's okay to love one animal but hate the other. The traumatic line of thinking stays with the kid and turns into racism, sexism, misogyny, and more. In a truly vegan world, murder would be obsolete, world hunger would be solved, and the environment would be safe. Now don't worry, this video won't have any graphic images, but just keep in mind, if something's too bad for you to see, is it really okay to be putting into your stomach? Now there are many reasons to go vegan, but I will separate into three broad topics, which is ethical, health, environmental, personal, and spiritual. When it comes to the ethical reasons for going vegan, I feel it's the most obvious, although I will elaborate on it anyway. We all know that killing another living being is wrong, whether we do it directly or by proxy, so it's no different when it comes to animals. Animals are sentient beings, and the kidnapping, raping, and murdering of their kind just so humans can appease their personal taste or fashion sense is wrong. Some of the common reasons I hear against ethical vegans are the following. Animals eat other animals, so since we're animals, we can too. That's a response I feel is almost one of the most illogical. Just because an animal does something, it doesn't mean a human should too. Using that same logic would justify rape because, animals do that too. Another argument you'll hear is, what if we kill humanely or treat them well before death? Well, it's literally impossible to kill anything that wants to live humanely. You have no right to take the life of another. Also, if someone treated you nicely and then decided to kill you, would that make it right? No, it wouldn't. And the final most absurd, overused argument I hear is, what if I give thanks for eating the animal and make sure nothing goes to waste like the Native Americans or other indigenous people? To that I say, would it make everything okay if someone killed your loved one, but they told you it's okay because they gave thanks and they were grateful for their meal? And don't worry, they put all their resources to good use. Of course not, you would still be upset. When you eat meat or use animal products, you directly contribute to the murder and exploitation of animals. Over 50 billion animals are killed each year for food, and when you include all the animals slaughtered for the barbarism of man, it puts the numbers in the hundreds of billions. The current human population is approximately 7 billion. Without doing any serious math, you can easily see the horrific ratio of animals being killed. Going vegan is also vital from an environmental standpoint. This is because raising animals for food uses 45% of the Earth's land and is responsible for 91% of the destruction to the Amazon rainforest. Approximately 20% of the world's oxygen is produced in the Amazon rainforest. However, it's not just the rainforest that is being ravaged. More than 260 million acres of forest has been cleared in the United States of America for animal agriculture. Over 1.2 billion on this planet don't have access to clean drinking water, and most of the fresh water for world consumption is used for animal agribusiness. In the USA alone, 80 to 90% of all water consumption is caused by animal agriculture. Also, besides the outrageous consumption rates, animal agriculture is responsible for extreme pollution. In the USA, animal waste from factory farms is responsible for contaminating groundwater in 17 states and polluting 35,000 miles of river in 22 states. That's not even mentioning the dead zones that are created in the water, where pesticides, herbicides, and other deadly chemicals make it impossible for marine life to live. In the last decade alone, 30 million animals, many of which are endangered species, are killed by wildlife services just because they are a threat to the animal agriculture locations. While climate change is a controversial topic, most don't realize animal agriculture is responsible for a larger negative carbon footprint than man-made CO2 and greenhouse gases. Livestock is responsible for 65% of all emissions of nitrous oxide, a greenhouse gas 296 times more destructive than CO2. We could discuss these mind-boggling numbers of how much of the environment and animals are destroyed. Let's briefly look at how this impacts world hunger. Did you know that 82% of starving children live in countries where food is fed to the animals instead, just so they can be raised and devoured by Western nations? Instead of wasting food on animals that are being bred for a living hell and to be eaten, the food could be easily used to virtually end world hunger. While there are many reasons to go vegan, some would deem health reasons are the best. While health benefits may be a selfish choice, it is still a valid and logical reason to go vegan. Did you know that many chronic illnesses can be reversed, cured, or put in remission just by simply switching to a whole food plant-based diet? Ailments like diabetes, cancer, Alzheimer's, arthritis, eczema, just to name a few. Now, just because something is vegan doesn't mean it's healthy. For example, binging on processed sugary treats, it may taste delicious and satisfy a craving, but is that your craving or a parasite's? However, a raw food plant-based diet is optimal. Everyone is different and there are many plant-based diets like high carb, low fat, 80% raw, 20% cooked, fully raw, and an infinite amount of combinations. But one thing is for sure, eating animal products causes cancer. Even the World Health Organization agrees that eating processed red meat increases cancer risk. Also, 2015 to 2016 President of American College of Cardiology recommends a plant-based diet for heart disease prevention. There are many other doctors around the world who have found success with advocating plant-based diets to cure chronic illness. Just some quick food for thought, no pun intended. Did you know that drinking dairy milk actually weakens your bones? That is because when you have animal protein, it's actually acidic to the body, so the bones have to release calcium to buffer your bloodstream. Thus, the nations with the highest osteoporosis are also the nations with the highest dairy consumption. Animal meat causes the body to be acidic. Cancer thrives in an acidic environment. Cancer can't thrive in an alkaline environment. And switching to a plant-based diet, eating the right fresh vegetables and plants will help alkalize the body. However, you don't want to be overly alkalized because that can cause problems too. Finding a balance is necessary, just like in everything. Keep this in mind, the meat, dairy, and animal product industry is one of, if not the largest, most evil, corrupt industry in the world. It's responsible for hundreds of billions of lives lost and hundreds of millions of acres and countless land destroyed. It's responsible for destroying the planet and your health. Remember, when it comes to big pharmaceutical companies, they can only make money if the majority of people are sick or have persisting ailments. If they release cures and permanent solutions, most of the medical community would be out of business. That's why you see suspiciously nefarious plans like Bayer, one of the world's largest pharmaceutical companies, purchasing Monsanto, one of the largest, most controversial agrochemical agricultural companies responsible for toxic GMOs, Roundup Ready crops, for $66 billion. If you can control the food and health of the people, you can control the world. Now, we at Dragonstar Alchemy are not anti-science or anti-medical establishment. We know that if done right, GMOs, vaccines, modern medicine, and pharmaceutical products could work miracles and save lives, just like the wide range of modern medicine and medical practices that save lives around the world currently, if the right ethical and scientific practices were applied. But that's a video for another day. Last but not least, I'll discuss the spiritual benefits of going vegan. I'll keep this section brief because most will see it as conjecture or not as important like the other reasons, although I will say that to those with an open mind and who are free of the current negative mainstream thought control, you will see what I mean. Eating animal products lowers your vibration, and eating plant-based products raises it. However, when something is cooked, it lowers its vibration, even if it's a plant. Carillion aura photography has illustrated that there is more energy and life force in plants than dead animal flesh. Lower vibration can be attributed to negative entities and being more susceptible to control. Hence why the corrupt mainstream normalizes meat and dairy. Have you ever wondered why many rituals, whether it's of magical nature or even mainstream religions, require fasting or the elimination of meat to have a heightened sense of power? You'll see this in Reiki, opening the gates, and various ritualistic magical initiations, and even in Christianity, when Jesus tells the people that only some demons come out through prayer and fasting, Matthew chapter 17, verse 19-21. Or early on in the beginning of the Bible, before things get too shady, when God recommends a plant-based diet for man and animals, Genesis chapter 1 verse 29-30. In Jainism, vegetarianism is mandatory for everyone, and some versions of Buddhism and Hinduism support vegetarian lifestyles. Also, if you look logically at the Wiccan read, do what thou wilt but harm none, the most logical interpretation of that would be veganism. Now, for the ones who want to argue that all life is sentient, including the plants, I will say that killing another animal is completely different than a plant and is akin to cannibalism due to eating within the same kingdom. Also, compare using a knife to slit an animal's throat or chopping up some lettuce. With the animal, you will see pain, hear screams, and witness the horror as you take his life versus no response from the plant. However, regardless of that, arguing the lesser of the two evils and not falling into another speciesism trap, let's say everything is alive. Then from my perspective, I say fruitarian lifestyle is the best for lessening one's negative impact on the world. When one is a fruitarian, you become a part of the plant's reproductive cycle, spreading their seed naturally through defecation, which some seeds require, or through manually planting the seeds. When one eats the fruit, the plant remains alive and intact instead of killing the plant. I strongly believe that going vegan is the first step to world peace, because until people can raise their consciousness and vibration to stop harming animals and their fellow human, they will never recognize the life of plants and therefore never ascend beyond destroying or eating the plants. My goal is to eventually find a nutrition source that doesn't require harming or damaging the life of anything. We must find an alternative to even plants in the future, so it can aid us to break free of this corrupt cycle. Imagine if we could thrive off of just light, electricity, water, or some unknown substance. But this investigation leads us to transhumanism, and that is a topic for another day. This brief video's purpose is to introduce and inform the benefits of a vegan lifestyle. Use this as a starting point. Go dig deeper and do your own research. Well, at the end of the day, you have to do what is right for your personal health. But no, it's not solely a personal decision, and your choices impact innocent lives and the world around you. While many will make excuses or remain weak, remember you can be strong and make the difference. Eating a plant-based lifestyle is cheaper than animal-based, and voting with your wallet can contribute to drastic change. By going vegan, you save animals, land, and water daily. Please go vegan for world peace and enlightenment. Thanks for watching this video and sticking around to the end. If you plan on trying out veganism, or if you're already a vegan, give this video a thumbs up. And in the comments below, let me know what your favorite plant is. I would have to say my favorite is cannabis, because it has just too many beneficial uses. Well, if you like videos like this, or you prefer more alchemic, esoteric, or occult topics, subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, hit that bell so you don't miss any future updates from Dragon Store Alchemy.